If you're using a soundbar, you're already a step ahead when it comes to getting better sound than what your TV can offer on its own. Built-in TV speakers, especially in today's ultra-thin displays, just can't deliver the volume, clarity, or bass that makes watching movies or shows feel immersive. A soundbar is one of the easiest ways to upgrade your home theater experience without jumping into a full rack of AV gear. But as simple as soundbars are to set up, there are still a ton of things that you can do to get dramatically better performance out of them. Whether you've just picked up an entry-level model to help with dialogue or a more advanced Dolby Atmos soundbar with maybe a wireless sub and some surrounds, a few smart tweaks can really go a long way. And if you haven't bought one yet, we've got a huge library of soundbar content to help you out, including guides like how to choose the right soundbar and our favorite Dolby Atmos soundbars, so they're definitely worth checking out if you're ready to purchase a soundbar. Now, in this video though, we're gonna focus on getting the most out of the soundbar that you already own. We'll walk you through everything from where to place it and how to connect it up, to optimizing settings and adding components like subwoofers or rear speakers and getting the best performance. So let's start with the basics and build from there. Now first, most people don't realize how limited TV speakers really are until they hear the difference a soundbar can make. Even a simple 2.0 soundbar can make dialogue way more intelligible, sound effects are just way more dynamic, and the music just feels fuller. That's because the tiny little drivers inside most TVs fire downward or backward, which severely limits clarity and volume. A soundbar, on the other hand, brings the sound forward, often with more power and better speaker placement. And the best part is, soundbars take a lot of the guesswork right out of the setup. There's no receiver to wire up, no speaker cables to run across your room. Everything is super compact, simple, and in many cases, wireless right where it matters. Plus, many soundbars today even support immersive formats like Dolby Atmos or DTS:X, which makes a big leap from just better than TV sound all the way to surround sound home theater sound. Now, one of the most overlooked parts of soundbar performance is actually where you place it. Now, that might sound obvious, but it really does matter, especially if your soundbar includes upward firing drivers for Dolby Atmos or side firing speakers for some simulated surround sound. Ideally, the bar should be centered directly under your TV with nothing blocking the drivers. If it's inside a cabinet, try to pull it all the way forward so that the sound isn't getting trapped. If your TV is wall mounted, mounting the soundbar underneath it is a clean and effective option also. But you should definitely check the manual because some soundbars that have Atmos in them need about 6 inches of clearance below the TV for the height channels to work properly. Now, if there's no room under the TV, it's usually okay also to place the bar above it on the wall. Now, the key here is making sure that there's a clear path between the soundbar and your ears, with no obstructions from a shelf or the bottom edge of your screen. Once the soundbar is physically in the right spot, then we can move on to how to connect it up. In most cases, using the HDMI ARC, or better yet, eARC port on the TV is the way to go. ARC stands for Audio Return Channel, and it lets your TV send audio to your soundbar using just a single HDMI cable. If both your TV and soundbar support eARC, that's even better, because that will unlock higher bandwidth formats like Dolby True HD and uncompressed Atmos for a noticeably richer and better sound. Now, you'll also want to double check here your TV settings. On some TVs, like Sony models, you'll need to enable enhanced HDMI mode instead of the standard mode to get full bandwidth audio and video. And if you're using a streaming box or Blu-ray player, make sure the audio output is set to either pass-through or bitstream or even auto depending on the model of TV that you have. Just don't use PCM. That pass-through or bitstream mode will pass the full surround signal directly through, like Dolby Digital or Atmos, to your soundbar. PCM can work, but just be aware it can compress or downmix the audio and reduce the immersion if that setting isn't correct. Now, if your TV doesn't support HDMI ARC, you can use an optical cable. It's not the most ideal, but it still delivers solid sound. Some soundbars have multiple HDMI inputs, and in that case, you could wire your streaming box or game console directly to the soundbar and then run HDMI out to the TV. But for most setups today, letting the TV handle everything and running one cable from its eARC port to the soundbar is usually the cleanest and simplest way to go. Plus, this usually lets your TV remote control the soundbar's volume, which is a really nice bonus. Now, after everything is all plugged in and you have it ready to go, don't forget to check all your sound modes. This is something that people often skip, but it can make a pretty big difference depending on what you're actually watching. Now, most soundbars offer modes like dialogue or speech enhancement, which boost vocal frequencies to help conversations make them a lot more clearer in movies or shows. If you find yourself constantly turning up the volume just to hear the voices, These modes can really help a lot. Now with that said, if you are watching a well-mixed movie and can hear everything just fine, turning off dialogue enhancement may give you a little bit more immersive surround experience, so we usually tend to leave it off if you can hear everything okay, but it's worth experimenting to see what you like the most. Now many brands also include something called a night mode, which reduces dynamic range. This means loud peaks like explosions get toned down while quieter sounds are still really audible. So you're not waking up the house or constantly adjusting the volume. This is a pretty great feature for bedrooms or late night viewing, so if you are in the market for a soundbar and you want that feature, make sure it has it. Now some soundbars even let you set different audio profiles depending on the actual input. So you could have more bass on your Apple TV input and a flatter sound for cable. And if your soundbar comes with an app, you should also definitely use that. For example, Sonos soundbars like the Beam or Arc let you adjust EQ in the app, you can toggle speech enhancement, and so much more. Sony and Samsung models often include specific surround modes too, or settings to tweak the rear or height effects, which can really come in handy. Some soundbars also have built-in calibration tools, either using the mic on your phone or a separate microphone that comes with the system. Now, these are usually very easy to run, and they analyze your room to automatically set speaker levels and EQ for way better performance. You just follow the instructions, make sure the room is really quiet when you're setting it up, and you'll usually notice an immediate improvement. It's one of the first steps once you have everything set up that we recommend customers to do. Of course, if your soundbar doesn't include auto calibration, you can still fine-tune manually most times. Some models even offer pink noise or test tones to help you match levels between speakers. Even something simple like bumping up the center channel can help dialogue cut through the noise better. And if you ever notice that the voices are out of sync with the picture on the screen, most soundbars have a lip sync or audio delay setting that you can fine-tune in milliseconds. You can also check your TV audio settings, as some models have their own sync adjustments that might need to be dialed in. We have a full guide and video that'll link down below all about lip sync if you need help with that topic. Now let's move on to subwoofers. If your soundbar came with a wireless sub, its placement will play a pretty big role in how it sounds. You should try placing the sub on the same wall as the TV first. If you move it closer to a corner, you'll typically get more bass, but it can get a little bit boomy or muddy if it's too close. Many subs from brands like Sonos, JBL, and Samsung actually connect up wirelessly, so you've got a bit of flexibility here. The best approach is to try a few spots, then listen from your main seating position to find out what sounds the most balanced. And if your system lets you adjust subwoofer settings like volume level, crossover point, or phase, don't be afraid to make small tweaks and listen to it with your ear. You're listening for deep, clean bass that fills the room without overwhelming everything else. Now, if you want a deep dive on this and more help on how to set up your subwoofer with the placement and the calibration, we have full guides and videos on subwoofer placement, calibration, and so much more that walk you all the way through it. I'll link them all down below. Now, if you want to go even further, you should consider adding some rear speakers, and some soundbars even come with them. This can take a great soundbar setup and turn it into a full-blown home theater system right in a small room. While virtual surround modes can be surprisingly good in small rooms, there's really no substitute for having actual speakers behind you. Now, for example, systems like the Sonos Arc can pair up with their Era 100s or 300s to create a 5.1 or even 7.1.4 Atmos system. JBL's Bar series, Sony's Bravia theater bars, and Samsung's Q series all have support for wireless surrounds too. So if you're planning to expand later, just make sure your soundbar supports that from the start, as some models do not. Now, when you're placing those rear speakers, you should aim to put them just behind into the sides of your main seating position, roughly at ear level. Most apps let you adjust the rear speaker's volume to your preference, so that's another thing that you should test. If your system includes height-enabled rears or up-firing modules, even better, you can really create a 3D bubble of surround all around you, and most again let you adjust how loud those height effects are. If you don't have space for rears, you could also try enabling the virtual surround or 3D audio that some soundbars call it in the settings. Well, again, this is not quite the same as having real speakers behind you or above you. These modes use clever processing to simulate sound coming from above or behind you, and they can be surprisingly convincing in some smaller spaces. But at the end of the day, a soundbar is one of the most simplest and smartest ways to improve your TV's sound. With a little extra effort like proper placement, smart connections, calibration, and surround upgrades, you can really take that performance to the next level. However, of course, even the most advanced soundbars still have physical limitations compared to a full component-based system, but when you set them up correctly, that can deliver incredible realism, especially in rooms where simplicity is the goal. And remember, if you ever need help figuring out which soundbar is right for your room, or you want to go deeper into the settings that I discussed in this video about your specific soundbar, we are here to help. Our team at Audio Advice has decades of experience, and we've put together tons of videos and walkthroughs to help you build the best home theater experience possible, no matter where you're starting from. If you have a ton of speakers in your room, or maybe just one small soundbar, we will help you get the most out of it. If you have more questions, feel free to call or chat with any of our experts at audioadvice.com, or stop by one of our award-winning showrooms to check them out for yourself. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and turn on the notifications so you don't miss out on any of our latest content. All right, I'll see you down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.